Hi everybody. Well, this is me. I am a single mom life. Just kind of sitting here, not doing much, just kind of one of those times when I just have some thoughts, and I don't know if people relate or not. I mean, I guess if you've been through it, you do. But, sorry, I don't have much makeup on. It was just been one of these days, and I kind of threw up my hair in a ponytail. So, just not one of my total fixer-upper days, But back to what I was saying. I had made a video about my life, a little bit about my life and my kids. It kind of got cut off kind of abruptly. I had a call. I'm not sure how to pause, but I got a call and it cut off my video. So I wasn't able to, really get into things that, I want to be transparent with people. I don't want to, make light of situations or make situations worse than what they are. I just, like I said, probably, maybe it's best if I talk about it. So, like I started out on that video I was married for 13 years. Me and my ex-husband, my 3 older children have a different father than the guy I was married to. I was with their father for 8 years. We never got married. We lived together and we had 3 children together. Things happened. We ended up splitting up and I was alone with 3 kids. I moved back in with my parents for a year. And I had known someone in passing when I was in that 8-year relationship. I had known someone in passing. I would go in a place and this person would be there. And, I think it was, we noticed each other, but I didn't know he was married at the time. But he knew I was in a relationship. So nothing ever happened. We just kind of, talk or, just how you see somebody casually out and you're just kind of like, hey, how are you, or whatever. Nothing more than that. And when me and the first guy I was with split up, my older kid's dad, I was single for a year. Did not date, nothing. I focused on my kids and I was single for a year. And started going back into the same place eventually. I had went through a lot of sadness after that relationship, but I got over it and accepted that it was the best. We had broken up a lot over those 8 years. We had broken up a lot. Never moved out, but we had broken up a lot. Just could not get along, fought a lot, and it was just coming to an end. And I wanted my kids to be happy. I didn't want them to see that fighting and things like that. So it was better for it to be the way it was. And we, went our separate ways. I was, like I said, I was single for a year. And I started to go back into the place that I had knew the person from. Of course, I didn't think about anything about it then, but my daughter, she's 21 now, like I had mentioned her earlier, she was with me. Of course she was with me. And, this person was so friendly to her. He would cut up with her, tease her, kind of joke with her like you would a kid. And I started to take notice of that. And we started to kind of, just kind of, hi, how are you doing? Things like that. And it went on from there. Eventually we exchanged numbers. And we started talking. we were together for 2 weeks. We dated for 2 weeks, and we made a decision to run away and get married. Duh. But it wasn't like it ended so fast. I mean, we were married for 13 years, and 11 of those years were good. We had a decent marriage. It was good. I could look back and say it was good. But things happened, and my ex-husband was, had some mental problems and could not handle those mental problems, and decided to become an abusive person. Kind of gave up on everything. Went, didn't care about himself, about me, about the kids, nothing. We had 2 boys together through those years, and everything went by the wayside. After 11 years, he just kind of had a breakdown, I should say, and he was a different person. He wasn't the man I married. He was something different, something that I couldn't get through to, couldn't get close to. It was just, the relationship just fell apart. And you want to convince yourself that, that person's gonna get better, that things are gonna change, and it's all those lies you tell yourself. But deep down, in your heart, it's just a matter of time that something's gonna break the camel's back, and that's gonna be it. And when is that gonna happen, and what's gonna happen? And it was hard. I can't, some days I don't know how I made it through. I think my kids motivated me to make it, to, keep pushing, because I felt like everything was on me. I was just in a position where, I was the only thing they had. He just gave up, and as me and my kids got closer, he really resented that, because I would confide in my oldest daughter. She was, she was older. She was 17, 18. She was witness to a lot of it. So, I confided in her. She was just my everything. And, I would tell her things, and she would, I know repeatedly, she'd say, why don't you get divorced? Why don't you get divorced? I'd tell her, I'd say, I don't know who I am without him. I always felt like if I wasn't with somebody, I was nothing. And that's a terrible way to feel in life. But, I guess it's that song, You're Nobody Unless Somebody Loves You. Maybe that's how I felt, That might have been how I felt, because I just could not see anything past being married, past my life with him. Even though it wasn't any kind of a life, I just couldn't imagine it not being with him. And, things happened. He became abusive, and the more he could get away with it, the more it escalated. And, I eventually, we fought so much. I eventually thought, if I just shut up, if I just shut my mouth, we won't fight. But it made him angrier. It made him so much more angry, that there was just no way to avoid the arguments, the constant verbal abuse, the physical abuse. There was no way. And it was horrible. I hate to think that my kids went through that, but they did. They did. And they were going right through it with me, even though, you want to think, and my younger kids are disabled. Like I said, they're disabled, but they're not stupid. and they, knew things were going on. As much as I tried to shield them, to go in the other room, when somebody's screaming through your house and breaking things and, following you, wherever you go screaming, kids are going to take notice. They do take notice. They're not as oblivious as you think to abuse. It affects them too. So the abuse went on for 2 years. And, it, like I said, I tried to salvage the marriage. There was nothing there. Eventually, it got to a point where I was just like, we need to get a divorce. This is not, gonna work. And that set off a chain of events that there was no return from. It was just like, somebody, I guess, putting it in just flat out, if I just said it, he wanted me dead. And, thinking that, this person that you loved for all these years, he wasn't shy to tell me either. He made it known that he wanted me to die. And, he told me daily, all the time. And, he had me convinced that I was crazy, that that it was all me, that I was crazy, that I was the cause of him being the way he was. And, I started to talk to my daughter about that, and I was like, I really think I'm going crazy dealing with this, because there was no peace from it. It was just constant. I mean, I felt, so small. And, my daughter, she would, sometimes I don't know how she made it through too, because, she would hold me while I cried, and, she was my support. You're gonna be okay. Whatever happens, you're gonna be okay. But, it came to a point where it was affected me. It had affected me. And when things happened and it was an impact on the boys, the children, the younger children, his own children, that was the end. That was the last day. I was like, you've got to go. And it was such an incident that was so violent that I had to put a restraining order out on him. I had to keep him from his kids because at that point it was unsafe until he got the help he needed. And it was just a bad all around situation. At that point, I was such a mess. I had to go through therapy. And, having somebody tell you, that, it was, I don't know. Therapy is helpful. It is. But, basically in that type of therapy, they're like, you recognize these signs. You won't go through it again. But I'm going to tell you what, I had a good marriage for 11 years. This person didn't show any signs in the beginning, but they showed plenty of signs 11 years in, what they could do, what they were capable of. And, you want to believe that you see those markers now, but you don't always see them. You don't always see them up front. These people change. I devote my life to my kids now. They're everything. And, they go through therapy. My boys, his kids, from what happened, they're still in therapy 2 years later. And they're still in therapy. Still need somebody to talk to. And unfortunately, I'm still being dragged through the ringer. With the restraining order still standing, it's not, it's not, anything. I don't have to deal with my ex-husband on any kind of basis, but, But it's like the marriage is over, but there's, and I can't talk too much about it because it's ongoing, but I'll try to tiptoe around it maybe. You know, there's still remnants of the marriage, and that's what he holds on to, I guess, destroy me or to hurt me. And I'm thinking, you know, 2 years later, this person should have got over it. They should have let it go by now. Started a new life. You know, it's me and my kids now. I don't, unless I talk about it unless I feel at a point where I need to talk about it, I don't. Because I don't want to remember that. I don't want to feel that way. You know, I feel that way every time I am made to think about what he did, or how my marriage just, you know, like I said earlier, you know, before, it's not heartbroken. I'm not heartbroken. I wasn't like so in love with him because the love had left a long time ago. When we separated, there was no love. I was done. I didn't feel that. And it was like, you know, what he had done affected me way more than losing him. It was like I couldn't get past replaying what he had done to me, to his kids, to my older kids, you know, over and over. It was just like a repeat. And you know, that really affects you. It wears on you. And as much as I wanted to be like, I'm okay, you know, I'm okay, for a long time I wasn't okay. And even now, you know, like I said, the remnants, I still have days when I'm just like, oh God, you know, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm so upset, just emotional. I hate that, but it's the truth of it. And, you know, I just really, now with my life, I'm 42 now, 42. Yeah, I know, right? And like I said, I have 3 kids. Oldest is 23, youngest is 13. And, you know, they're my focus, they're my life, and every day is them. You know, every day is them. And my younger kids need me so much. It's, you know, doctors and specialists and therapy and, you know, making their life as good as it can be, considering, you know. And, you know, I sometimes I wonder if there's, you know, if there's anything for me, like, do you know, you ever wonder, like, if you can ever even think of marriage again, think of putting that commitment with somebody. My mind frame now is no. If I'm dating you, we can separate, we can walk away. Marriage is a moment of insanity and forever to get out of, and that's been my experience, and it just scares me to death. And I don't know. I think you can love somebody without the paper. I think you can love them just as well without the paper. Maybe that's wrong. You know, people feel different ways. Maybe I'm just scarred in that way. But, you know, I don't have people really to talk to. I have my parents. My daughter, like I said, I've probably said 500 times, but she's moved to Texas. I mean, we still FaceTime, you know, but she's not right here with me. She hasn't been home in a year. I miss her so much. And my parents, they live super close. And me and my mom are super close. I mean, always together, and she understands. She always, supports me, is there for me. But sometimes I feel like I'm wearing on her nerves, that that I can't, that I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I just wear on her nerves. And the friends I had with my ex-husband, he had apparently spread a lot of lies, so those people don't speak to me now, and that, so I'm very much alone. But if those people believed him about me, then they weren't really my friends anyway. So it's a really a single mom life. If you can relate, if you want to talk, anything, comment, like, subscribe. And I hope my story, is relatable. And, I can only imagine how many people it happens to, and I never thought it would happen to me, but, I guess maybe everybody feels that way when it does. And, I just want to say I'm me now that I'm not in that situation. I feel more me than I ever have, than I ever had being in that. I was just lost. But, I feel like myself. I do what I want. Like I said, I'm all about my kids. So everybody take care, and see you next video. Bye.